So I get there's extenuating circumstances. I can only speak on what my reaction would be. I've never been in this situation, never had sex with a dude, never been raped, never had to lick off somebody's right. I don't fucking know anything about this stuff. But
you were in the Navy, Ryan.
I would like to believe that if something like this happened
to me. Warren Ellis, I don't think did anything wrong, personally. I think he's a weird guy. I think he's a really fucking weird guy. One of the chicks who ran his forums worked at my store for like 2 weeks, and I fired her because all she did was cause fucking problems. But
women,
but like, look at Warren Ellis, and like he had a bunch of women going up to him, willing to have sex, thinking that like him having sex with them would make them good writers.
or would get them ahead in their career. Yeah.
They're the ones giving head.
That is too exactly. Boom. That is two adults. It's transactional, but it's two adults making adult decisions. I don't think Warren Ellis did anything wrong. Then there's Neil Gaiman.
Oh shit, man!
Call me master.
So,
wow.
Poop. Lick the poop.
Lick the poopy. Lick the shit off my poop.
I was going to say holy crap, but that's probably topical.
Don't. Scatman.
Oh my gosh.
Ew.
I just like the idea that someone's got to call him master. He can't even sit up straight in his chair. He can't even master his own spine.
Dude, this is a picture he agreed to take. So Neil Gaiman very early on was one of the first, if not the first, like rock star comic book creator who got himself a team of publicists who went out there and controlled the narrative, like early on, way back in the day. Back when one of the people who shouted him out the most back in the day was Brian Hibbs. That's a name I bring up a lot. He owns a shop, Comics Experience. He bought my comic shop. His dad said he was going to do a better job than me. Then he closed his comic shop sooner than I closed it. So there you go. Those who try the most fail the most. So he's a bit of a degenerate, all right?
That's an understatement, Gary.
Ryan, I watched your daily episode where you went through the stuff of the allegations. Holy.
I read this article, man. It's rough, dude. This guy, like, if all the allegations are true, he's a legit piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, literally, he likes people.
I said the same thing. I'll continue to say the same thing. If all of this shit is true, Neil Gaiman is a massive, piece of shit, certainly. However, I do think that you have to look at all the women that are involved in this, and at least the ones we got some of the detailed background about, and be like, you have to be a little bit accountable. Not to say that Neil Gaiman's in the right, but you have to be a little bit accountable as well. If you're a babysitter for Neil Gaiman, and he says, hey, I'm about to go on a business trip. Hey, just so you know, if you want to, you can take a bath out there, do whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's a little bit fucking weird. If I was a babysitter for Neil Gaiman, I probably wouldn't take a bath, whatever, if that wasn't
outside in a garden.
Exactly. Okay. But okay, go take a bath. He shows up, takes a towel off, pulls his dick out, hops in with you. You say no. He says, oh, yes. He tries to stick his fingers in your ass. He tries to come on your tits. He tries to come on your face. He fucking violates you. He does all these things, right? And I'm not a woman. I've never been raped.
Really?
So I don't know what you would do maybe in that fucking very moment if you didn't feel like you could get away safely, whatever. You continue to be his babysitter?
Yeah,
that's weird.
That is a lot.
To allow this person to do this to you for fucking weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and you go to his degenerate fucking polyamorous wife, and she doesn't have your back for this, so eventually you come forward. I'm not saying that Neil Gaiman isn't a piece of shit, but I also just think when we talk about these stories, we should talk about like how some of the women behave and why they could have made this worse. If you look back on it, would you do these same things over again?
The
18-year-old girl who started becoming friends with Neil Gaiman when he's fucking 60. And spoiler alert, Neil Gaiman is not chatting up a fucking 18-year-old because he loves the conversation. He wants to have sex with you. So it shouldn't come as a surprise when you're alone with him then that he tries and attempts to have sex with you. Do you know what I mean? So we just need to point that out as well when it comes to a lot of these stories. But fuck Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman, like, there's a tweet from 2018 of him about, I believe women, I believe survivors, blah, blah, blah. Well,
we need to fight harder.
Well, you better believe him now then, bitch.
He set the standard. He's telling us we need to believe women. And so I was like, okay.
That's the biggest part of this story. It's transactional. We need to talk about that. That is a tale as old as time. That happens all the fucking time. It's happening right now in Hollywood, in the comic book industry, and that's just a reality. And nobody here is he's innocent until proven guilty. That we've got to say that. But
if you know people in the industry, thank you, Ryan. Like I do, you've known about this for decades.
Yes,
you've heard things about.
I have heard firsthand stories from former customers, from people who've worked in other comic stores. Absolutely, this is something I've known for years. Everybody's known it for years. That he likes the young ladies. Now, nothing's ever been said about underage or anything like that. It's always been of age, but he likes them pretty young. And that's been around forever. The biggest story is he's a fucking male feminist. You know, it's like Vince McMahon did some degenerate shit, but you didn't see Vince McMahon running out there going to believe all women. You know?
Although hypocrisy.
He's a male fucking feminist. He's out there doing all this. And I think equally as big is how protected he was from the, and I'm putting this in big air quotes, the comic book journalists, which don't exist. They're a bunch of hack fucking bloggers and mouthpieces. That's all they fucking are. But the Heidi McDonalds of the world didn't say shit, and they've known it. They've known it the whole fucking time. The Rich Johnsons of the world have known it the whole fucking time. They absolutely have. And they've covered for him. They've covered for him a lot. And these are the same people who will go after any of us for saying anything. And they've known all this stuff. And it's because he agrees with their politics. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that's protected him for so long. He's a powerful dude in the publishing industry and the literary industry. For what? He made a seminal comic run that I personally didn't like very much. I thought the art was great, but
There's a lot of seminal stuff going on.
Yeah, there you go. But he's seminal. For as big as he is, like, I don't think his body of work actually backs it up. I think he's written some good stories. You know, American Gods is out there. Good Omens, Terry Pratchett. But he's no fucking George R. Martin when it comes to writing. He's always been.
He's written more.
So he's finished some stories. Okay, I'll give him that.
Yeah. But there's some fucking stuff out there. Like, in the article itself, it describes when he used butter as lubrication. He fucked this chick in the ass.
Watching the movies.
Shit
off his
You guys
dick.
haven't done that?
He pissed on he pissed on his hand and made her lick it off.
Was it margarine or butter?
What else? Oh,
I can't believe it's not butter.
What if he used that? You know, the spray they have for corn.
Oh yeah,
He sprays that on his cock. Holy shit!
Wow.
Might actually use that one.
With all of this, is he investigated by the police or is it just an article?
It is an article. It's from a podcast. This story's been out for a year. So that's the other thing. Is this story's been around for a long time, the actual story.
Two women came forward on a podcast back in the summer or maybe spring of last year.
Yeah, last year.
And that's where it first started really gaining momentum. And this New York article has 8 women who have never met each other, but all have remarkably similar stories. I believe some of them have reported it to the police, and some of those investigations are underway. But I don't know if all of them have or not.
Because that's the thing. Like, something like this is serious enough. It should be investigated by the police. He should have his day in court, and then we can find out one way or the other.
Well, it depends on which country. Your country doesn't like to investigate.
No. They'd be fine
crimes.
with him. Like, they would 100%
Yes, they would.
the children they don't want to investigate.
But it's the trial by media I have a problem with. Like, if it's illegal, go to the police, and then
go to the police.
The whole innocent until proven guilty requires there to be a police investigation. It requires him to go through court.
Yeah.
So I don't really think going on podcasts is the place to do this in the first place. it should be taken to the authorities and leave it to them.
And we'll see if he gets investigated or not. I mean, he's done. So quietly.
It also depends on when some of this stuff happened, obviously.
Yeah.
Depending on what state where it happened, things like that.
Statute of limitations.
Have a 5-year.
What has been his response? I've heard that he kind of just said it was consensual and
That's basically been it.
That's basically it.
His thing is, yes, I did use the butter. Yes, I did have her lick her shit off. Yes, I did piss on my hand and have her lick her. But
don't kick shame me,
bro.
Yeah.
Because to me, that actually lends a bit of credence to the accusations. He's not saying they're all friggin' lying through their teeth and they're just trying to destroy me. He's actually kind of confirmed a decent amount, but then he says it was consensual. So it's like,
that is
okay,
important, though. If you describe a lot of stuff that happens in the privacy round, it will come across as horrific when written down. So, there are ways you can frame it that makes it sound ridiculously horrific.
Tell us about it, Disparu.
Hello.
I said the same thing about Harvey Weinstein. Okay, is he a fucking creep and a weirdo and a piece of shit? And did he fucking take advantage of people because of these situations or whatever? 100%. However, I think that these women knew what they were getting into. They were doing this. They were willing to suck Harvey Weinstein's cock because they thought they could get ahead in their careers, right? So I don't know if we have any of the similar things when it comes to Neil Gaiman or whatever, like this story. But like I said, there has to be some sort of accountability when it comes to the people that are telling these stories. And if it's something that happened in a one-off time, that's one thing. If it's something that occurs time after time after time after time after time over weeks, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Right. And I get it. Sometimes people have jobs. They're scared to do whatever. They're scared to do this. They're scared to do that. They're threatened by this person. They were paid off by this person. Several of these women signed NDAs after this happened. And took up to like $60,000 and things like this from Neil Gaiman because he didn't want it to get out. So I get there's extenuating circumstances. I can only speak on what my reaction would be. I've never been in this situation, never had sex with a dude, never been fucking raped, never had to lick shit off somebody's dick, right? I don't fucking know anything about this stuff. But
no
I
expert
would like to believe that if
But you were in the
like
Navy, Ryan.
I would like to believe that if something like this happened to me, I would speak up immediately after this shit happened.
This is just an example, just throwing it out there. I don't fucking know either, but you're going against Neil Gaiman, and if you're especially a fangirl of Neil Gaiman, this is a powerful person, and you're gonna for one, you're crushed. Let's assuming everything she said is true. That's a large assumption, but you're crushed that your hero is this much of a piece of shit. You also have to go up against the machine that is Neil Gaiman. And you also don't want to believe this is true, or the other side of that is she was completely okay with it at the time because it was Neil Gaiman, and it was just later she had some regret or saw an opportunity to get some money. I mean, all these things, either or could be true at this point.
Sometimes these women can work for these very high-powered people who are sketchy, and then the trauma manifests itself in different ways, like creating the acolyte.
Another thing too is that it seems like this woman was in very much a desperate situation too, and that's something that needs to be taken into account as well. And another thing that needs to be brought up is the whole thing with Amanda Palmer and the fact that they're going through a very bitter divorce. And as she stated in the article, that he basically bled her dry. So maybe this is a convenient time period for all this information to come out.
Bled her dry, like money-wise?
She's implicated in this as well.
Yes.
Oh, I know.
So,
I know.
Like, I don't think this is like an Amanda Palmer focused attack. She's
I'm saying that
in
she released this information because she's.
I'm sure she has quietly given out some information. I'm positive.
Well, but here's the thing: she's implicated in this article.
She is.
Oh, I know.
Basically,
she
is having a sexual relationship with a person, showing pictures to Neil Gaiman, using her as bait for Neil Gaiman, and basically delivering her on a silver platter for Neil Gaiman to fuck her. Right. Amanda Palmer looks like a disgusting, degenerate, vile piece of shit in this article itself too.
Well, yeah.
And like I said, I don't know what's going through people's heads in these things. I know women who have stayed in horrific, abusive fucking relationships for a long fucking time against all sort of sanity, against all rational thought. Okay. And so sometimes things like that do happen for reasons I can't really comprehend. But I'm just going to give all the women who watch this podcast, all 5% of you out there, I'm going to give you a helpful hint that will get you through life a little bit easier. Every man wants to have sex with you, period. Okay? So
even on your period.
Yourself in situations like this, don't be fucking surprised. Every man, whether they're fucking married, like they want to fuck you. That's how you should just go around in life.
I was like,
do you have any daughters?
Thank God, no.
Thank God. So we'll find out. Again, the bigger story is it took a lot of people a long time to even talk about this shit, and they knew about it, and they protected him. And these are the same people who are out there canceling fucking Warren Ellis for just getting laid. These are the same people who went after Joss Whedon, and people were trying to compare this Gaiman situation to Joss Whedon. No, Joss Whedon was a fucking asshole. He's a asshole who's got terminal TDS. But
I don't think he fucked anybody. Like that, did he?
No. No, he cheated on his wife. But that's a director in Hollywood. Like that's that's a day of the week.
Like Tiger Woods. Everyone said, I can't believe he cheated on his wife. He's like, I can't believe he didn't squirt himself inside out.
There you
go. Is this
that's one of those things? Yeah, that's one of those things when it's written down, it sounds like worse.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.